Hello, all of you. You are in module 51, and I am in the first task to take you through what the whole module is mainly about. So, in this task, I'll be just telling you how much we have already learned from this unit and what is yet to be learned. So, like I told you earlier, that this unit is divided into three parts. In the first part, we learn about inheritance, that is, how do characteristics pass from parents to offsprings. In the second part, we learn about what is the role of genes and alleles in terms of determining what kind of phenotypes or observed characteristics an organism expresses. And finally is gene control. So basically the third part tells how certain genes control the functioning of other genes. So the third part is the part which we haven't started yet. And let's just quickly go through what we studied in 16.1. Haploid, diploid, homologous chromosomes. We studied about meiosis and how it helps in maintaining chromosome number in gametogenesis. Then detailed stages of meiosis, how meiosis helps in genetic variations because of which offsprings are not exactly identical to their parents, and even siblings are not identical to each other. Then we studied about possibilities of genetic variation even after meiosis, that is, the uh, fact that random gametes can fuse with each other and fertilization can occur. Because that happens, there is again a possibility of more genetic variation. Under 16.2, we studied a very large number of genetic terminologies, and we kept on revisiting them to make sure that our understanding is clear when we are problem solving. Then we studied about genetic diagrams, monohybrid, dihybrid crosses, types of dominances, incomplete, codominance, multiple alleles, inheritance of characteristics which are present in the sex chromosome, that is, sex linkage. Then we studied about autosomal linkage and interaction of many genes to control a single phenotype. And we did that through dihybrid crosses. So we saw how autosomal linkages and gene interaction between loci, they actually deviate from the dihybrid cross ratio. And then we also did a lot of practice on predicting unknown genotype using test crosses. And recently we studied about the chi-square test, which tells whether difference between observed and expected ratio is just a matter of chance, or is it because of certain factors playing into role like linkage or anything, mutation. So yeah, basically, I wanted you to focus on the last two bubbles, that is, relationship between genes, proteins, and phenotype. Then gibberellin's role in stem elongation. Gibberellin's role in stem elongation is something that we will not be covering in this module. We will be covering that later. But module 51 is mainly about relationship between genes, proteins, and phenotype. So, yes, so gene control we haven't started yet. Like I told you, that we'll be focusing on this objective now. This also comes under 16.2, that is how genes control the phenotype. So we already know that through monohybrid, dihybrid cross, we have seen that a dominant allele will control what the phenotype of the organism will be. Now, after doing lots of crosses and practicing autosomal linkage, sex linkage, it is time for us to understand how does all of this happen in a molecular level. So in module 51, we are going to again bring back all our knowledge and understanding, starting from the concept of what is DNA, what is RNA, what is transcription, what is translation. We pull all those strings of knowledge together with the idea of what we are learning in genetics. So we are combining our nucleic acid knowledge with genetics and trying to understand that a gene will transcribe into an mRNA, and that mRNA will leave the nucleus and participate in protein synthesis, that is translation, and produce proteins. These proteins will again be modified, folded, arranged to be converted into mature proteins which will do their function. And when they do their function, that is what is actually we call as the phenotype. So if my skin is producing lots of melanin, which is a protein, then at some level in my cells, transcription and translation is happening. At some level in my cells, the gene for melanin is expressing, means it's getting transcribed. So it is time for us to connect all these ideas together and understand how transcription translation is related to the phenotype that organisms express. So we will study all of that in this module 51 with the help of another situation, that is mutation. So we are going to study about how sudden changes in DNA will affect the transcription stage. Sudden changes in DNA means the sequence of RNA will change. That also means that during translation there will be some messing up of sequence of amino acids, and that will lead to formation of proteins. Now, we always have this misconception that a mutation is always harmful. No, sometimes the mutation is harmless and sometimes the mutation is useful. But in our syllabus right now, we are going to study about different genetic diseases because of mutation. And while you're studying about these genetic diseases because of mutation, try to find out the relation between the gene, how is the gene expressing its protein, and because of the protein, what kind of phenotype is the person showing. Okay, so we'll be studying about this relation between gene, protein, and phenotype throughout this model. Here is a very simple example of what I'm saying. So we all know that every gene is in two alternative forms in case of most of the diploid organisms. So let's say in case of this flower here, the same species can produce three different colors of flowers. That is because the color of flower gene has three alleles. Now, depending on whichever allele gets transcribed because of its dominant nature, that particular protein will be produced or synthesized. And because of that protein, the phenotype, that is the flower petal color, will vary based on which allele got transcribed and which protein got synthesized. So this is just what we will explore in details in case of humans, and in case of genetic diseases, how we see this gene, protein and phenotype relation. So we'll be exploring albinism and hemophilia. We will also be exploring some other diseases which you will learn in the next tasks. So drop in a few comments if you think that this discussion brought some questions in your mind. Ask them in the comments, and then you can move to 51.2. Thank you.